So anywhere where we're aligning our body, and ears are aligned with the shoulders. And imagine your spine is this beautiful string of pearls of light that stretch from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. So you can imagine maybe somebody is lengthening your spine and pulling a little string. And then just go to the crown of the head and relax your scalp and maybe you can feel some sensations there. Relax the forehead, the eyes, the back of the eyes. Just allow your eyeballs to relax. Relax your eyelashes, your nose, the cheeks, this area around your mouth. Relax the jaw, back of the tongue. Relax the ears and the inner ear, and just relax your temples, the back of the head. Relax your neck. Just put a little bit of length in the back of the neck. So if you just move your chin up and down, you can feel where the back of the head at the base of the skull, the occipital bone, gets a little tighter as you lift your chin up, gets a little bit looser, longer as you have your chin coming down. But don't allow your head to kind of drop too far down because you're just going to get sleepy and dozy and dull your mind. So just allow, and if your chin is too high, it apparently creates agitation in the mind. So also maybe, Phyllis, particularly as you've been feeling anxious, make sure there's some length in the back of the neck as well. And one thing that you can also do is lie on the floor, maybe with a nice warm roll or towel or something like that under your neck, and have your knees up, your feet flat on the floor, your knees up. And be lying on something fairly solid, not a mattress. Don't do this on a mattress. So relax your throat and chest. Imagine your chest is expanding, and relax your shoulders and your upper arms and your forearms. You can have your hands resting in your lap in the regular meditation mudra, which is the right hand nestled in the left with the thumbs touching. And relax your legs and feet. Relax your toes. Relax your fingers. Maybe you can clench your fists and just relax. And take a nice deep breath, noticing the sensation of the air as you inhale and exhale. And now be aware of any sounds in your environment. For some of you, it may be people in your house, your pets, your home. Some of you might be hearing traffic, people in the neighborhood, next door people in your apartment. try not to investigate the sounds, just allow them to be there. And then come to the mind and notice what's arising. So if you do have something arising that's fairly intense, a memory that just kind of pops in, you can just have a little bit of curiosity about that, if you're able to. It's like, hello, what are you doing here? And maybe meditation is not the time to process that. And like Robert said, he just backs away from it. Or you can do as Kimberly's been finding some success with saying release and then just exhaling with the breath. And the other technique you can use is to, with any thought that's unhelpful, that is, maybe not even accurate, any any rumination, any stories, try not to engage with those stories, which sounds like what Robert's been doing, is to just try not to engage as soon as he sees it. And you can just let it go. So release is a good way to do that, saying the word release, or you can even imagine you're putting this whole bundle on a cloud or a lotus, and you can just imagine it blowing away. And it doesn't necessarily get rid of it. Do you know what I mean? It's more about taking control of what's going on in the mind, so you don't feel that you're the victim of your own thoughts. Because as Lama Yush used to say, you do have the power. We can control what's going on in our mind. We just have to learn how to do that. So bring to mind then yourself as a scientist and generate this energy of observation and curiosity. So you can separate fact from future tripping or from stories that are not accurate. And sometimes it's a little hard to discern because we often believe very much in our own stories. But it's good to look at facts. Recently I heard that some people in this country are believing that abortions in California are happening at 9 months or even after birth. And these people fully believe it. So this is something we have to be careful of in ourselves for maybe something that isn't so obviously incorrect. It's always good to check up what's real and what's not. So then just bring to mind, we do our equanimity meditation now. So bring to mind some people of your life. So you can start with the ones you love. It's very dear, people who are close to your heart. Then there's strangers, and for those of us living here in the Bay Area, I don't know where you guys are all living, but it's quite congested. So everywhere we go, we come across strangers because we're running into cars and highway and what you might notice about the strangers is, you see them once, you don't really think about them again. You're definitely not leaving them in your will. And then we have these folks in our life that we don't like so much. And we tend to have aversion for them. We push them away, or they make us angry. And then what we do need to remember is this idea of impermanence, is that all these people who we think are sort of fitting into one of these three categories, the relationships are actually interchangeable. They're all equal in their wish to be happy, the wish to be free from suffering, and having this extraordinary capacity for, this Buddha mind. So, we think that our friends are the only ones who have this capacity, or the ones we like, or the ones we admire. And the ones we don't like don't have any capacity at all. They're just kind of wrong. And the ones we don't know, we don't care. But they all want to be happy. They all don't want to suffer. They're just like you and me in that way. And they all have capacity. Phenomenal potential. So we think about this, we can be humbled in a way. So now just meditate for a moment. We'll just meditate for 3 minutes. And then we'll start session 3. So stay there in meditation, and I'll just talk a little bit about functional and dysfunctional thoughts, and in working with compulsory involuntary thoughts. So some of you may have recognized that you have some of these. So, the general conventional right now idea of mindfulness is that it's a way to stop thinking. And through mindfulness and introspection, we actually become more aware of the presence of thoughts. So you can start to think that rather than getting better at meditating, you're getting worse. And so, Robert's example of getting some intrusive thoughts that were not particularly welcome. And so what's happening there is, there's a greater awareness of what is actually going on inside the mind. So we also learn to discern between different types of thought processes. So thinking that's functional and useful versus thinking that is not so functional and might be even maladaptive. So our functional thinking helps us to navigate through different life situations, work out how best to proceed, when we need to take the next step of the meditation. Our dysfunctional thinking, on the other hand, tends to be involuntary, habitual, and they can be reactive habits, habit energies, as one of my Tai Chi Chuan teachers talks about, to the circumstances in our life. So if we get distressed over an imaginary future scenario, it's like we're making up our own Hollywood here. And these involuntary dysfunctional thoughts keep us kind of stressed and unable to rest or sleep. And, they sustain this tension and agitation in our body and our mind. And once these thoughts get going, that's why it's good to nip it in the bud and to develop some awareness about when they're sort of, arising. Once the train leaves the station, sometimes it's very hard to stop it. So there you are in the middle of the night and the mind's going, having a party. So in terms of mindfulness and working with compulsive involuntary thoughts, when your introspection is kind of like your little spy person detects the arising and the presence of a compulsive involuntary thought during your practice, you can acknowledge the fact that your attention was drawn into that way of thinking. So in the practice of mindfulness, of breathing, the natural out-breath offers us this incredible opportunity to calm the mind. And so we can reinforce this idea by reminding ourselves with this word release that actually Kimberly said she found helpful. And so when we notice an out-breath and returning our attention once again to the breath sensations. So you exhale, say the word release, or release and exhale, whichever way you want to do it. So this is one way we can cultivate mindfulness in stabilizing meditation. This is one way it benefits us, even in the early stages of our practice of mindfulness. We nurture our mindful focus on a specific object of meditation, such as bodily sensations or the breath sensations in the mindfulness of breathing. And we practice to release unnecessary physical tensions and calm mental agitation, and especially those due to compulsive involuntary thinking. And this is a good way to help us reverse the negative effects of chronic stress reactivities that, many of us have. And it enhances our attention or our concentration, which is accompanied by harmonious functioning of the body and the mind. But we have all these habit energies. So, so we'll do some mindfulness of breathing again. me just go get it. So just close your eyes and settle back in and just notice the sensations, the simple sensations of the body. And notice areas of softness and ease and relaxation with these comfortable feelings. And can we welcome these feelings and allow ourselves to enjoy them while they are here? So notice the areas of comfort in your body. And then you may also have some areas of tightness and discomfort. And so are you able to just simply acknowledge them for the moment and just not for the moment change them for the better, but just let them be? I mean, obviously don't sit there in pain. So check in with the sensations around your face again. And just check in to see whether you're tensing up any of the muscles there. The forehead, the eyes, the mouth, the jaw. And can you very gently relax these muscles and let in a different feeling, one of softness and ease and comfort in the face? And just allow this softness to spread on its own through the rest of the body, helping our body to settle into meditation in its own time. And among the different bodily sensations, can you detect the sensation of the air, the sensations associated with the breath? And so some of you may notice the sensations around the nostrils where you can feel the air flowing in and out of the body. And others may notice the movement, the rising of the falling of the chest. And so as you're breathing, you might want to think about breathing in a 360-degree fashion. So not just the rising and the falling of the chest, but the expansion of the ribs at the side, the expansion of the ribs at the back. And some of you may also notice the rising and falling of the breath around the belly, in the abdomen, around your belt. And I'm thinking it was Shayla that mentioned that was easiest for her. So not everybody is going to be able to focus on the sensations of the breath at the nostrils. So rest your attention on, one or two of these breath sensations and allow yourselves to fully experience your inhale and exhale. So notice when you breathe, notice your exhale now. And as you do, use this as an opportunity to release anything unhelpful or unwanted. In the same way we breathe out to let go of the stale air in our lungs. If you wish, you can say the guiding word, release. You can say it in your mind each time we notice an exhale. This is to remind our body that it does not need to hold on to unnecessary tightness and contraction. Also to remind ourselves that the mind can let go of thoughts or memories or fantasies that may be preoccupying it. We can also release, dullness and drowsiness, allowing them to float away with the out-breath. And we're not forcing anything, we're just releasing. So just, we're not pushing, we're not forcing anything to happen, we're not pushing anything, we're just releasing. And if you start to become drowsy or your mind has gone somewhere else, simply invite it to come back to the breath sensations and release on the exhale. So we'll do this for another 3 minutes. Everybody, just relax for a moment. Does anyone have anything they'd like to share about these meditations or any experiences you may have had. Nothing? No one? Should we keep going? Okay. So now we're moving on to meditation on mindfulness of thoughts. So in this meditation, we give mindful attention to the different kinds of thoughts arising during our meditation. Excuse me. And to facilitate this process, we make use of our breath, the sensations of the breath, as we just did in the last meditation, as a support or an anchor for our attention during the gaps between our thoughts, or when we feel ourselves feeling dull or drowsy. And then we can return our attention to the breath to steady it as a point of reference to help us discern our thoughts when we get caught up in them. So we can regard the breath as a companion that kind of comes with you on this journey without necessarily feeling we must constantly focus on it at all times. You know, when you're traveling with someone that you know really well, they're just there. This person's part of your life, coming along with you. So we have a very intimate relationship with our breath. It's always there. While we're alive, we always have our breath with us. It's our friend. So to facilitate the process of discernment, we can start with making a note in our mind, such as thinking. I mean, that just sounds ridiculously simple. But by saying that word thinking, you're actually taking a step back. And here comes this energy of observation. I'm thinking. And we can repeat this process, working on refining our awareness of thoughts, and may even to start to discern what they are about. So when we become a little bit more proficient in this process of recognizing thinking as thinking, we can then refine our power of discernment, differentiating the different types of thinking our attention is getting caught up in. And we could replace this simple label of thinking with others that better reflect their contents. So thoughts about the past could be noted as remembering, those on planning as planning, those involved in fantasy as daydreaming, and so on. And in this way, we become more mindful and a little bit more discerning in regards to the types of habitual thinking we tend to engage in. So just return your mind to the simple sensations in the body, the simple sensations of the breath, and notice areas of softness and ease and comfort. And can you welcome these feelings and allow yourself to enjoy them while they're here? And also notice areas of tension or tightness, and maybe a little bit of discomfort. And again, can you simply acknowledge these for the time being without necessarily having to immediately change them for the better? Just let them be for a moment. Like I said, don't hurt yourself or leave it too long. So check in with the sensations at your face. Are you tensing any of those facial muscles? Again, around the forehead, around the jaw, the eyes. And so just gently relax and release the face, relax and release the scalp, and let in a different feeling of softness and ease. And allow this softening, this releasing, this relaxing to spread on its own through the rest of our body, helping our body to settle into meditation in its own time. So you're not forcing anything. Now draw your attention to those sensations associated with breathing. And some of you may notice subtle sensations around the nostrils, feeling the air flowing in and out. And so again, other people might be noticing this, the rising, falling, the expanding of the chest, the ribs. You may also notice the rising and the falling of the abdomen. And allow your mind to focus on one or more of these breath sensations. And just breathe the air in and exhale. And rest your attention with the breath. Every time you notice yourself exhaling, let's use that as an opportunity to release. Releasing anything unhelpful and unwanted. Just the way we breathe out to let go of this stale air in our lungs. And again, regard the breath as a place of rest for your attention, a place you can always come back to at any time to steady yourself. So you can even use this technique when you're kind of in the middle of, like Phyllis is in the middle of moving, or you're stuck in traffic, or you're engaged in a discussion that's uncomfortable. Give yourself a moment to take 4 or 5 breaths. Notice how the mind calms down immediately. Because sometimes when we get all wrapped up in what's going on in the mind, you may notice your breathing has changed in a way that's not super helpful. So when your introspection starts to alert you to the presence of thoughts, or you're already thinking something, turn your attention to these thoughts and recognize that we're engaged in thinking. So we might want to mentally make a note, thinking, to be clear about what we've discerned. And so try to avoid getting entangled in the contents of the thoughts. So try not to engage your mind with the thoughts, and gently return your attention to the breath. Just very gently release those thoughts on the out breath. And when you notice your attention is drawn into thinking, take a note of that as thinking and come back to the breath. So we'll meditate on this for another 3 minutes. So for a moment, let's think about mindfulness and discerning wisdom. So wisdom here refers to the mental quality that clearly discerns the good qualities and flaws of an object under examination. So we're talking about discernment. You know, you hear something, there's a lot of crazy things being said right now in the media. So it's really good to kind of take a step back and maybe do some fact checking. It's like, is that really true? Come on. If any of you played Chinese whispers, we do this game in Australia where one person starts with a sentence and we're all sitting in a circle. It can be, you know, maybe 20 people in the circle or 10 people in the circle. And you say the sentence and then the next person says the sentence. And then you pass it on to the next person. You whisper it. And then by the time it comes back to the original person, it's generally something completely different. This is how rumors start, spread, change. So mindfulness helps us to hold our attention on an object in order to facilitate investigation and analysis. And then we come to a conclusion about the object. And our mindfulness familiarizes with that conclusion to deepen our understanding and knowledge of that object. So one of the reasons we have a hard time putting aside our compulsive and involuntary thoughts that are so disturbing is because our attention gets caught up in the contents of these thoughts. And we sort of take it to be reality in the moment. It's almost like we can't put down that, you know, that thing that we're binge watching. So we kind of start to binge watch our mind. So, you know, we get confused about something and we start to believe our thoughts about the past as if it's happening right now. Or we get lost in a future scenario and react to it as if it's real, but actually we've just made it up. We don't realize that our attention is already involved in this kind of thinking and is no longer in touch with whatever is happening in the present moment. This is always a good opportunity to bring your attention back to the breath and down to the feet. So when you have kind of a good practice of mindfulness and discerning wisdom, you can learn to differentiate between the different types of objects that our mind is getting engaged in. So we've, you know, with these first 3 sessions, we've been sensing different tactile sensations. This includes the breath. In the beginning of the meditation, we talk about sounds. We also think in words and images, and we have, you know, there sometimes is a quality to our thoughts, like a texture or a color. And most of us aren't really so aware of the power of our thinking, especially these compulsive involuntary thoughts that we really believe in without question and follow through with. And so when we start to train ourselves in this meditation on mindfulness of thoughts, we begin this process of recognizing when we're involved in thinking and learn to identify thinking as thinking, which is what we've just done. Once we can start to discern thoughts as just thoughts, we can put the contents of those thoughts into perspective. We can think that maybe what is being said in those thoughts might not be true. So some of us who might struggle with self-critical, judgmental thoughts can learn to regard all these self-judgments as, in our thinking, are just thoughts and not reality. When you have a friend who tells you that they feel so bad about themselves and they think this, this, and this, and you don't even see that in them at all. And developing this skill of mindfulness and discerning wisdom with regards to thoughts can go a long way to relieve us from this stress that we kind of bring upon ourselves by compulsive involuntary thinking. This is why it's so good in this resolve section of the Vajrasattva meditation we do at night, where you can actually, choose something you'd like to work with. Could be one of these involuntary thoughts, types of thinking that are in our mind. So we hone down on it. Now, everyone, take a rest, open your eyes, and maybe it's something you want to share. Have a wriggle. Yes, move around, please. Get some blood flowing into your legs. Is there anything anyone wants to share?
I would, Ven.Katy.
Hi,
Hi.
Phyllis. Yes.
So in these, I'm not having it right now, but when I'm in this high anxiety, usually morning is the worst.
What time?
From about 4:30 until
Okay.
till 11. It's like
Okay.
time, but the early morning's the worst because it just is. Anyways, I feel like I made the wrong decision. I mean, I really am at myself. I mean, I really like, I'm so frightened and I shouldn't have done this and I should have just stayed where I am. And that kind of, and I haven't found a way not to have it pop through. It just pop through and I'm in, I'm in panic, not panic, but emergency. Like the adrenaline is up right away.
But after 11 o'clock, what happens?
Um, well, usually I have something I have is when I'm with people, it is not a problem. And and so if I have a patient, that works really well to work, because I organize myself around patients and that's good. Calm right down and I'm there.
Mhm.
Or like today with my nephew, it was so amazing to just calm down and, anyway, so people and doesn't have to be working. Um, my stomach is off. If I eat, it makes it worse. But I do eat. Um, boy, I really, I like to exercise, but we've been having we had a hurricane in here today,
Oh,
honestly.
okay.
So my stationary bike's outside because my place is small, but I can't get myself to lie down and do my exercises or to go out on the bike. I get so anxious, during the morning. Ugh, I'm worn out, talking about it, I'm getting anxious.
Okay. And what do you think, apart from being around people, is there a way you can use any of what we've done in these meditations, maybe even if it's just as simple as breathing,
Yeah.
that might be helpful?
Well, one thing I've been doing is I did the Yamantaka retreat,
Mm-hmm.
and so I have my notes. When I do that, that helps to do the 9 breath breathing,
Nine round breathing.
memory
Okay.
breathing, and then I
Yeah.
read the prayer. but honestly, I don't, I don't understand the prayer when I'm reading it. And that's not like me, but that's where my
Mm,
anxiety is. Nothing
wow.
doesn't want to land, right? And so I'll read one paragraph and stop. And sometimes I've read it from the back first so that I can hear it, but it
Hmm.
still doesn't work. I just have very, I mean, but I'm reading it anyways. And so that helps to go through the 9 point and a couple of other things before you do the meditation. I
The
mean,
nine round breathing is an extremely helpful um, thing to do.
it
It's
is.
very, very grounding. If you manage to get yourself, I mean, would you like to do it now? We have a bit of time.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
It'd be nice for everyone to do it, maybe.
Yeah.
Um, I'll just keep checking in with everybody. And Phyllis, just wondering if you managed to talk to Geshe Sherab
I
about
did,
yours.
yeah, I did send him an email and he had, the monks visiting. Anyways, he didn't answer, but his teaching that night, he addressed it. And he said some things. He said, if you'll do the Yamantaka, um, your decision will work out.
It'll come. Okay.
So I really heard him address it right away, my
Okay.
question, and I
Fantastic. Okay.
very succinct about how I presented it. I just said really
Mm,
clearly in about 2 lines
mhm.
what was happening, and yeah, it was wonderful. He actually felt it was addressed, and so I've been absolutely on the Yamantaka, the short one I'm doing right now.
Mhm. Okay.
All right.
Um, and your new place has like beauty and it's
Oh,
quiet.
it's quiet. It's beautiful. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, old adobe, so easy to heat. Has a big greenhouse at the end of the kitchen and living room, that run all together into a dining area. It's really large. I'm like, there's a backyard and a front yard and windows over the sink. It's like I don't have windows over my sink here, but it's lovely and they've cleaned it so well and redone a lot of things. And I mean, it's lovely. I have a backyard and a front yard, but I have to water. And you don't know this about me, but I can't stand up very long. My back is giving out on me. So I have to water for an hour. Anyways, a couple times a week, but not today. We've had really downpour.
Sound it sounds beautiful. And
It
then
is.
of course you can get, like I said, we have this wonderful community there, Tupta Nobiling. You maybe get people to come and help you.
I will,
Yeah,
for sure.
you get a watering train going.
That's a good idea. Who wants to
Yeah,
water for me this week?
exactly. Give them a cup of tea. Okay, so let's go on. Kimberly, how was that for you?
Very relaxing.
Oh, good. You're sounding very relaxed. Okay.
I'm all chilled out
Oh,
now.
good. Okay, good to hear. Um, and Robert, I just want to check to see if any of what we just did today was helpful in regards to your intrusive thoughts. And did you have any and were you able to deal with them? Or are you just happy to do what you've been doing in the past?
I didn't have any right now. It was nice to think about it. So yeah, I definitely will probably introduce some of that into it. Kind of be curious to see how that helps.
Okay,
It should help. So thank you. Enjoyed it.
okay, good. Margaret, how are you doing? This is your first time in our little group, so just checking in.
Oh, very well, thank you.
Good.
It's uh, it- that meditation was really, really good for me.
Okay,
Um,
beautiful. All right.
Thank you.
And you found it helpful?
Yes, I was becoming aware of, thoughts that would pop in, and they were generally thoughts that I am anxious about, and I was thinking just to gently leave the thought and get back to my breathing or something to keep my focus.
Well done. Fantastic. That's
Thank
great.
you.
Sounds like you're sinking in. Good, good. Shayla, you good? And Alice? Everyone's good? Shayla, do you have anything you wanted to share? You've got children there, I see, as well. So well done.
Yes. So yeah, my focus is a little bit more surface level.
Yeah, I understand.
But for me, the one thing that keeps things keep popping up, like things that I need to do, and I used to stop and write it down, and then I would forget about it. And so today I've just decided it's okay. It'll pop back up into my mind eventually. I'm just going to leave it be. I'm not going to let it consume me. I'm just going to let it go. It'll come back to me eventually. I'll remember eventually, maybe next week or next month, but it'll happen.
Okay.
So that's where I'm at.
Okay, good, good. And Alice, is there anything you want to say or no? You don't have to answer.
That's good. Thank you.
Okay, all right, thank you. So this 9-round breathing is one of these, as many of you may know, and you may have done it differently with Geshe Sherab. The way I'm doing it here is the way Lama Yeshe taught it in that book. I think it's Ego Attachment and Liberation, which was a course that was run here in California back in the 70s, I think. So Lama Yeshe taught it in this way I'm going to teach, what we're going to do now. So it's also known as dispelling the airs, and it's also a meditation that's done before the more esoteric practices, which is why Geshe Sherab's introduced it into the Yamantaka practice, or whoever it is that's leading the Yamantaka practice introduces it. But really, it's one of the practices that it's done before the six yogas of Naropa, which are these special kind of yogic practices to help clean the channels. So that's why it's one of those dispelling the airs practices. So I'm not going to mirror you. I will be going opposite to you. So just listen to my words. And you start by placing the back of your right nostril very gently, the back of your right finger on your left nostril. So you're not kind of pushing your head over anything. You just very gently allow the finger to rest on the left nostril, and you inhale through the right, maybe for a count of 4, blissful, radiant white light. And then just pause at the top of the breath, and then you just change your finger to block the right nostril, and you exhale through the left nostril all of your attachment energy. So this is, unhealthy desire, attachments to kind of computer games, watching too much social media, any kind of addictions to things, which is what that is, not feeling like you've done enough or not feeling like you're good enough, and all your anxieties and worries. You just exhale all of that as thick, black, yucky smoke. So you breathe all your attachment energy out. And then you repeat that 2 more times. So you're breathing in through the right. Beautiful light. It fills your whole body. And as you exhale out all your attachment energy. Breathe in through the right. Pause and exhale all your unhealthy everything, desire, anxiety, attachment, grasping, neediness. So now you swap hands, block the right nostril with the left finger and breathe in through the left nostril. Pause at the top of the breath and then exhale through the right all of your anger energy and grudges, bitterness, unhappiness, depression, disappointment, jealousy. Breathe it all out as thick, black, yucky smoke. And repeat 2 more times, breathing in through the left beautiful light, and then exhale out all your anger energy as thick black yucky smoke. And again, breathe in through the left. Pause and then exhale all your anger energy. Now just rest both of your hands in your lap and breathe in through both nostrils, blissful, radiant white light. Pause at the top of the breath and then exhale all of your ignorance, lack of wisdom, not knowing the way things truly exist, not understanding cause and effect. So here, in all of these cases, we're just wiping the dust off the mirror. So just exhale all your ignorance energy. Can also be whatever you know ignorance to be, whatever you understand ignorance is. Do that 2 more times. Breathing in light. Exhale ignorance. So that's your first set. And we start again. Blocking the left nostril with the right finger, breathe in through the right, blissful, radiant white light. Pause at the top of the breath. Exhale through the left, all of your anxieties, unhealthy attachment, unhealthy desire, grasping, neediness, anxiety, wanting things, addictions. Breathe it all out. Breathe in through the right. And exhale all of that unwanted, unhealthy attachment. Breathe in one more time through the right. Exhale through the left nostril all your unhealthy attachment, desire. Now breathing in, change hands, breathe in through the left. Blissful, radiant white light. Pausing at the top of the breath, then exhale through the right. Sorry, breathing in through the left. Exhale through the right. All of your anger energy. Depression, jealousy, grudges, bitterness, vitriol, wishing to harm. Breathe, get rid of it all. Breathing in through the left. Exhale through the right, all of your anger, resentment. Breathing in through the left. Exhale through the right. Breathing in through both nostrils, blissful, radiant white light. Exhale through both nostrils all of your lack of wisdom, your ignorance. Breathe in light. Exhale all your ignorance. Breathe in through both nostrils. Exhale all your all your ignorance, lack of discernment, lack of wisdom. And now this last round we'll do in our own time. I won't lead it, but you start by breathing in through the right nostril. So when you're finished in your own time, just return to your meditation, bringing the mind back to the breath, becoming aware of the sensations of the breath. And just feel. Okay, everybody, just relax. Actually, I've personally found it really nice to do the 9-round breathing after all that talking. So take a rest. Some of you are coming to the Vajrasattva meditation in half an hour. I'm going to eat some dinner. Thank you so much for hosting, Shayla and Sauce. My gosh, Sauce is getting so big now. Look at him. He's no longer a toddler. Okay. And well done, Shayla, for holding your composure throughout all that activity, that young person activity you've got going on there. All right, everybody, lots of love. Margaret, I hope you come back next week. I think we have to squash 2 sessions, right? Into one. Isn't next week our last week? Is it?
I'm going
Do we-
to the week after.
2 more sessions or 1 more session? If we have 2, then I have to put 4 and 5 into one. Anyway, I'll work it out. Margaret, I hope you come back.
Yes, thank you, Venerable, so much.
Yeah, good. Phyllis, stay calm. You
Thank
might
you.
have to resort some of those sleep gummies, you can buy. Your Shayla's nodding.
Hey, we're gonna do
All right. All right, everybody. I will see you in half an hour. Lots of love. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye,
Bye.
everybody.